Ba-da-ba. Da-da-da. Dice off. Oh, that doesn't look like an F at all. There we go. Good. Build tutorials. Whoa. There we go. It kind of looks like a dollar sign because, you know, bills equals money. Right, so what I'm going to be showing you is how to make these awesome roofs, which are really, really simple to make. This is just a quick build I made before, but due to the highly popular demand, I will be showing you how to make this. Ha ha ha. Right, so we have a part here, easy piece of stuff. So what you're going to be needing is Studio Build Suite, which is this plugin here that we have on this left side. Really handy tool. You're going to be needing the Reflect tool, Resize Align, and another tool, which my brain right now I can't remember. Maybe you don't. You know what? We'll see you later on. Actually, you know, Material Flip is also a useful tool, plugin to use. So if you don't have that, I suggest getting it. So we have this part here, which is 0 by 0 by 0, which is 2 by 2 by 2. Oh my god! And we will simply take this part here and duplicate it by pressing Ctrl D, and we can move this down a little bit. And how this part is gonna be the center point, of which we will be able to mirror one side of the roof to the other side. Because what I did here was that I simply just built on one side. As you can see, the colors are the same. I could technically fix it, but I'm a pretty lazy guy, so I won't do that. So what we'll be doing here is to simply take this part here, and then we duplicate it again, and we select edge. We hold in Alt and middle mouse button click, and that will select that edge. So as a starter, I like to use 7.5. I think that's a pretty good value, since we want to have a pretty heavy slope, or whatever you would call it. The degrees should be decently small up here. Degrees, okay, oh my god, English, whatever. The slope is pretty thingy up here and not so much down here. Awesome. I hope that doesn't make sense at all, because it didn't make sense to me either. So what we're going to do is to use duplicate again, and we're going to move this object to the side, and we will be making it, let's make it down to 0.3 studs. So how this works, some handy tools that you need to know is that you can simply press tab, and that will change the value. You can change it to anything you want, and that will go for any of these tools. Simply just pressing tab will allow you to change it easily. And also, if you use 2 on your keyboard, 2 and 3, you can change the values up and down like this. It will duplicate it by 2. Easy stuff. It's an email. Hey, order Christmas presents today. Oh crap, no, screw that. Right, so what we're gonna do is that we have this part here. Actually, you know, screw that thing. We don't need that. Let's make it this one a little bit thinner as well. Maybe a good and hefty 1.2 stars wide. And we can make this one, well, let's make it the same. Right, awesome. This part here will be the yellow plates, or whatever you would call it. Oh my god, look at that. Oh, ew. Ew. How could I miss that? Okay, that did not work. This should not be a part of the tutorial, but whatever. Right, so the fact that we have the parts here, now we can easily duplicate them and then use move first. This will move all the objects based on the axis of whatever the last selected object is. In this case, it being this plate here. We can move it down. because we don't want this to be squares. We will select both of them, resize object or resize world. It doesn't really matter which one you choose in this case, and we will be moving them inwards to make them 1.4. That sounds awesome. And now we will select both of these again, select edge, and then we will move them in like that. Although in this case, I want to keep them to 7.5, especially in the beginning, since this value here means that we want to double it more or less. Or maybe, no, let's not double it, let's just add 7.5 for each segment we add. Because we want to increase the slope a little bit. The first part here will just have one section. We select first again by first duplicating, Control D, moving down, select edge, this part here, and now we will make it 2. So that's 15 degrees now. And what we can do is that this part here is 2 studs. We can move it down. 2 studs. Oops, wrong tool. 2 studs. And now this part here, we move it down by 2 studs. And this will allow us to have on the same angle to make the roof longer, because otherwise you will basically just keep curving it otherwise, and well, it'll be like I think it'll be like a snail shell or seashell, whatever you would call it. That would be pretty cool, but we're not looking for cool right now. We're looking for stuff that looks good. And we select both of these. Oh, actually all 3 of them. Move first, down again, select edge. We can make it 15. And we can do we really want to keep doing it? You know what? Yeah, let's do it like I did. So we'll select this again, and then move first, down, and then select edge, and up to 15 again. Now, what we want to do is extend this part. However, actually, no, we don't want to extend it. We want to steal a wedge over here. Thank you, myself from the past. Just gotta, there we go. Thank you. And we place it here. Now, because I don't like to have the see here, resize, there we go. Because I don't like to have the sharp angle that you get here, I will normally take a part and then use it to round off the edge a little bit. It doesn't really have to be a cylinder. No one will ever really notice it, but it looks a little bit more. I don't really know what I would even call it. This is a word I've had issues with for a long time, but basically the structure looks more robust, like you could say, and not as fragile. Oh my god, that was such a good way to explain it. And we'll simply just resize this inwards a little bit. Select first again, move this up again, so that we get them to at least cover this end there. There we go. Now we have it the way we want it to be. Simply just take these parts here and we can group them. Let's just check the size. It was 1.4. So we can control duplicate, make this 1.4. We'll move it. We'll keep doing the same thing here. What we can do is simply select 4 of them, hit 3 2 times. And now we have 5.6 instead, so it keeps moving. There we go. Awesome. Now, of course, we have these holes here, which we do not have. Which we do not want to have. So outer touch to fill these parts using resize align. Oops. Accidentally selected the wrong surface. Now, obviously, to make things easier to see, we will make this wood a different material, different color. There we go. Now, the texture is a little bit off, so we can use material flip, which is a really handy tool, and we'll flip it. Now this is not really an issue that most people will ever notice, but I will notice. I will always fix these on my builds. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I do. There we go. So we just group that to make it easier. Because I am a lazy sausage, I will just ungroup all of these again. And now we have a bunch of individual parts. I usually like to select a base color. So let's make it like let's make it green. Awesome, that's an awesome green. We like that. And now we simply select random ones of them. Actually, let's not do that. I can do that one, not that one. We don't want to have two of them at the same. And then like that. There we go. What we'll do now is simply just go to color. I almost started stuttering there for a moment. We can simply make these slightly brighter. This is just to give more of a shape to the texture itself of the part. I would normally, because I am, as stated, a little bit lazy at times, and I will just simply use free colors. Well, nuances, I guess you'd call these. And I'll make these darker to make them stand out a little bit more. It looks good from a distance. Now, what we will do here is that we will select all of these and we will use rotate object. This will change the rotation of all of these parts. And that's pretty hypnotizing actually. Woo! Right, okay, back to tutorial. So we can simply select this and make it 1 degree. And we will slightly pivot them up a little bit. So we get something like that. And now what we will do is to simply close our eyes, holding control, and just keep selecting a bunch of these. Not technically, you don't have to close your eyes, but just get an idea of to randomize everything. There we go, and we add a tiny bit more. And we do the same thing again. Not on the same. And we just repeat this process until we are happy with the result. This is the one down here as well. Still having rotate object. And it's starting to take shape. Maybe one more time to properly get the random look that we are looking for. Don't worry that we have this slight gap here. We can easily fix that. Just keep selecting. Okay, maybe not that one, but yeah, awesome. There we go. And just fill them up a little bit more. As you can tell, they look quite random. But you still have these gaps and you're like, oh no, what am I gonna do? Well, easy. Select all of them and then go to resize center. And we can make it 0.1. We extend them a tiny bit like that. And now you should almost have fixed that. And if you really want to, you can use resize object again when you have all of them selected and just move it inwards like that. Now that should have fixed all your little gaps. And that is technically just how you do the roof, but you know what, let's just keep going. So I would normally move it over to this side. There's a slight gap. There we go. This is no longer really a good center, so let's just move it away. Okay, we can actually use this to mirror. That's even been a better idea. So we will take this part here. That's the entire model. So what I want to do. So we move it up. And we can just, let's see here. Oh my god, this modeled scrap. There we go. Resize the line, extend up to, oh, it did say that's awesome. And we can select edge here again and just tilt it inwards. I have a feeling that like 45 degrees might be good. Yeah, that's awesome. Hell yeah. And what we'll do here is to simply duplicate the spot again. Move it a little bit to the side. Up like this to cover the ends of these parts here. Move it inwards a little bit more. Because how I build normally is that I like to use the colors shadows to create details. So this build here is really simplistic. There's hardly really any detail put into it at all. But what actually makes it kind of stand out is the fact that I use rather large sections to cast shadows, rather than some people, they will just build on a really plain surface, and then they will think that and they think adding small parts will somehow create detail, which is definitely the case if you're trying to build a painting, I guess, but you're not really creating a 3D shape, which you're trying to do here. And in this case, what I've done is, as you can tell, this sticks up pretty far actually, and it goes in maybe like 0.2 studs here, maybe 0.5 studs outwards. This thing goes out, I don't know how long, that's 1.55 studs. These are pretty large sections here, as you can tell. You can see the shadows, and the shadows are what makes it stand out and gives it the 3D shape that you're looking for. Yeah, so same thing goes here really. Since in the game that we are going to be working on for this thing particularly, you will never really see it from the bottom, so I didn't bother fixing this overlapping crap here. But you can definitely do that using like wedges. If you're really dedicated, you can definitely do that. I guess I could technically give it a go and see how it goes with this thing here, but it will be a bit of a painstaking process. Should I? Maybe. We'll see. We can just add this part here. Just to spice up the look. Now this part here is the same width. I'll use length. It's better. Same length as the roof itself. So you can simply use move axis, move it upwards. Change the orientation, because, you know, why not? And then change the size to 2.2.2. And now, there we go. So the perfect center of this entire roof is exactly where this ends here. What I would normally do is to extend it a little bit further, so I can easily tell which side I should mirror it on. So if we select this section here, we can just use, let me just go away. Use this plugin here, which is called Reflect. It's a mirror plugin, really easy to use. Strava made it. If you want to find it, you can go to my models and just, you know, get it there. And then we create this level thing here, and we select this side of it. Boop. And voila! It builds itself. In this case, we're gonna just keep building this part here. So go away. And we select edge, but let's make it 7.5 again so we can get the axis. There we go. That's how we want. So we want to have it flat up here. And we know that this part's difference is, let me just check so I don't say something silly. Okay, it is 0.2. So we can just take this part here as well, move it, and make it 0.2. Resize align outer touch to connect them again. And we can scale it as well. Awesome. Now that is done. Actually, yes. Get those. Oh, stop. There we go. Now that is done, I can easily mirror this thing. So we select this part here. Actually, which part should it? Should it be a wider or a smaller one? Let's make a wider one. We like wide roofs. That sounds awesome. So we'll duplicate this part here, move it upwards. We'll do the same things we did with this part here. We'll make it 2 by 2 by 2. And then we get the center like that. Man, this tutorial is like so educational. Now the issue here is that we have 2 parts overlapping, and we don't want that. So we're gonna remove one of them and simply use resize align again, outer touch, and connect them. So now we have the arch, or whatever you would call that. Oh, I see, I accidentally forgot that part here as well. Mirror that. There we go. Wow, what a roof, eh? Obviously, you can make it look better. In this case, I had a much sharper curve than over here. I mean, this is I don't know what the hell this is. This is a hill almost. But this is just a tutorial build, so crap, who cares? Just add this part here as well. Mirror. And there we go. Now we have the roof, which is not on fire. Ha ha ha. Awesome. And now you can add this to your build and be happy. That did not turn out the way I wanted it. Yep, alright, that's it.